Welcome to JW Broadcasting.
Howdy, heretics.
Hello.
So I'm goat-like personality from Norway. This is my worldly woman. I did not grow up in a cult. I grew up among Jehovah's happy people, God's one true religion that was elected by Jesus when he appeared invisibly in 1919. What other religion can say that? And we know it must have been Jesus, since no one else, most people can't appear invisibly, so it must have been Jesus. So she's worldly. She's never been a Jehovah Witness. And what do you know about Gilead graduation?
Nothing. I only read Stephen King's novel Black Tower, where was mention of Gilead, and that's all I know about Gilead.
Okay, so Watchtower, the Jehovah Witness religion, have a high status indoctrination school for missionaries. And the graduation is super boring, but I cut away all the boring parts. So maybe we can learn something.
Just the exciting parts are left.
Just the exciting parts are left.
On September 13th, 2025, the 158th class of Gilead completed 5 months of intensive study. Let's listen to the encouraging talks that experienced brothers shared with the class. We know you'll enjoy the spiritual gems of this graduation.
Yeah, you see, they know you will enjoy it. Do you believe me?
I believe you. You do this to me all the time. You say, I know you'll enjoy this. And then I think I heard this somewhere.
Yeah, so let's see.
He said, "You are the salt of the earth." Now, Jesus spoke this comment as part of the amazing Sermon on the Mount. And even though there was a large crowd that certainly benefited from his sermon, to whom was Jesus especially addressing those words? Well, it was to his disciples, and especially, even more so, the 12 apostles who had just been selected. Now, these ones especially needed to be trained to be good examples and spiritual leaders.
So this is typical Jehovah Witness. They take one scripture and turn it into something else. You know, the salt of the earth, Jesus spoke to 5,000 poor people, not leaders. They were not in the temple. It was a carpenter talking to 5,000 farmers outside organized religion. And now Watchtower said, who did it talk to?
No. He was talking to the leaders, in fact.
Yeah.
The higher echelons, not to just the farmers.
He was mainly talking to the disciples and mostly the apostles.
Okay,
so the salt of the earth were not the 5,000 that just happened to be there. He spoke to the last thing he said was the spiritual leaders. So all of a sudden,
sense in a way, because he wasn't talking like, you farmer number 3. I'm talking to, like, you know, the guys, Lucas and Mark, whatever. Maybe it makes kind of sense that the other ones were just kind of like, come forth and listen to my teachings. But I think it's really safe to say that he was talking to everyone.
Yeah, but witnesses, they take something and they want to turn it. In this case, the governing body want them to be the salt of the earth and those that they send out to be in a lesser way. But you have this place, beautiful place where people, not people in power, literally the salt of the earth, 5,000 uneducated farmers and fishermen and a carpenter talking to them among them. And they say, this was about the spiritual leaders. No, the spiritual leaders were in Jerusalem.
I want to say something, because we've been together for 5 years, and I watched that guy for 5 years now, on and off. I mean, Mr. Lett. And I have to say, he has gotten so much older, and I have a little bit like, I'm watching him and
you
I
have
see
a crush on him.
No, there is this character in Polish literature called Plastuś, and he looks exactly like him. Who knows? The people who know, they know. But I just feel like empathy for him because he's such an old guy now, you know, like he lived his
Yeah.
life. He has the scars, like he's an old guy.
He
And
spent his life in the cult,
And
but
he's getting like closer and closer to the end. And it just, you know, makes me feel like we're on a journey together and he's kind of coming near the end. It's kind of sad in a way.
well, so no, this one is not working. Oh.
Oh no.
So, but what witnesses do, they can basically turn, just as a thought example, let's say they wanted to turn the salt into be something negative. How would they do that? Because they now salt is something positive. If Jehovah Witnesses, this is my point, if they wanted, they could just turn salt into something negative because.
It just doesn't matter what they're saying. They'll always twist it.
Yeah, but my point is now they could, but they could twist it into something positive, a negative, like.
Interestingly, Jesus did not use a simile. He didn't say you're like salt. No, he used a metaphor. You are salt. He was expressing identity, not resemblance.
You see, my point here is that salt can also be something negative in the Bible. So basically, it's just cherry picking. You heard about the wife of Lot?
Yeah, of course, I heard about the wife.
She turned into salt.
Yeah, for sure.
She was a worldly
Listen,
woman.
I understand. It's just those are just figure of speech, and I understand that he meant it in that way of understanding. I think, yeah, obviously, it's a cult. They will twist things to their benefit. It doesn't matter really what are they saying.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that I used to be. When I was a witness, I never understood this. Why can't you just write the Bible to like A, B, C, D? Why does it have to go one scripture here, another scripture there, another scripture here, another scripture there? But now I know it's just this is what we want to believe, and then we twist scripture to fit it. So that's why I added the lady, Lot's wife. If they wanted,
Where was that from?
Yeah, from another video
Okay.
about worldly Jehovah Witnesses that were greedy and that. Remember the wife of Saul, she was materialistic. But if they wanted to blame the 5,000 to be bad people, they could just say, you are the salt of the earth. Salt is a symbol of greed and materialism, and they would get away with it. They can just call it new light. That's kind of my point. I cut away all the boring parts here. So this is called the Inside Story, where they interview people that went to Gilead, and I cut away all the boring. But I want this time to compare to the Gloriavale cult in New Zealand, because I'm going to New Zealand to protest #all religions must respect human rights. And when you're a Jehovah Witness, you believe that we are unique, we are the only one, we're the faithful, we're the one with the communication of God. And in New Zealand, I'm looking forward to meeting members of Gloriavale, which is a different cult. And come back to that later, but they're pretty funny people. So now the inside story. So there's some interviews, and I speed it up a lot because.
Welcome to another edition of The Inside Story. Mark and Melissa Gratrix from the Britain brand. How did the two of you meet?
I was a delegate to an international convention that was hosted near where Melissa's from. That was in 1998 that we met.
So in those early...
So, where did they meet? I told you before, where's the Jehovah Witness maintenance season?
It's the conventions.
Yes, and I'm going to convention, and sadly, she can't follow me because we have a little baby. That's why we're whispering. It's in the next room.
Yeah, we live in an old farmhouse in rural Norway, and all the farmhouses, okay, history lesson, they're made of wood, and that is not well known for high sound isolation. So you can fart in that end of the house and hear it in the other one. So,
and we do.
Yes. And that's why I really am not worried when you go to convention alone, because even though you look good, you smell
Yes,
potent.
I do. I smell like a goat.
So really,
So-
that's the best.
But we're going to protest outside the convention. There's an international convention, and we protest for children's rights.
As long as you come with the wind, you'll be fine.
Yeah, as
That
long-
was
don't walk downhill from goat-like at the protest. Goat-like, that's me. So let's keep moving here. But they met at the convention, which is classic Jehovah Witness
good
romance.
for them.
Early days, what kind of path would you say you're on spiritually?
Well, I had loving parents. I had a good upbringing, but spiritually speaking, not the best path. I had it in my mind since I was a little girl to be a fashion designer. So that's what I pursued. I went to college for 4 years. I got my degree in fashion design. And then after that, I went into that field of work. So as a result, I wasn't doing well because I didn't develop the right qualities. I was very materialistic. I didn't always make the best decisions when it came to my association. I didn't always make the best decisions as to where I hung out. And I had no spiritual goals.
And you, Mark?
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't on a great path either. I'd learnt the truth from my mum when I was about 13. I got baptised. But straight away, I started to live a double life.
Yeah. So what's your impression of these? They are at the peak of, as a couple, of the career as you can do as a Jehovah Witness, going to Gilead, and they're on Bethel. And, well, do you have any strong opinions?
Well, I think she was doing quite well. She felt the emptiness that is really common in the world right now, I would say, in a late capitalism. And she just found Jehovah to fit in that hole. But it sounds like she had a lot of things going for her, and she's dressed really nicely. So I guess she got something from that school and from those loving parents that have provided her with that. Yeah, you know, in our Western society, there is not so much space for spirituality, and the one we have is lacking. I mean, the Abrahamic religions. So I think she still is on the wrong path. But she seems fulfilled, even though she might be doing not the best choices for herself.
But the thing is, she is doing choices for herself, and I support that, as she's a grown-up.
Mhm.
So my activism is mostly about the children that are not taking choices for themselves, like Gloriavale, where you basically are born into slavery, because their cult is basically what we call Bethel. Imagine if a cult that's only Bethel, and you're born on Bethel, and you work on Bethel, and it's kind of well organized, but you're basically working from day one, not day one, but you know what I mean. So it's kind of an element of slave labor. But on the other hand,
But all the
isn't
cults
all
are
cults
the
are
same.
that?
They're all the same. They just vary in how much of it is there, like how concentrated cults behavior is it. For example, witnesses, since they're so spread out and through the whole world, with different countries and different languages and different setups, different cultures, it's really difficult to have this perfect information control over them, because there is internet. They're not locked up in a compound like the Gloriavale or other cults that are more culty, more localized. So witnesses naturally are a little bit more relaxed, while other cults are exercising much higher degree of control. But what makes cult is still the same: information control, behavior control,
Self-control,
basically the grade to which it is
the bite model.
done.
You-
It differs, but all the same things apply to witnesses and other more extreme cults, like, for example, Gloriavale.
Jehovah Witness is not a geographic cult, so the prison must be inside here. It's not a valley in the... You want to hear a miracle? I can show you
Yes,
a real-life
please.
miracle here.
So after Nicaragua, you came to Bethel in England at some point. So where do you serve in Bethel? What departments are you in?
So I work in the legal department, and I help those in special full-time service with their visa applications. So it's really nice because you get to see Jehovah help that process along. It can be a long process, but Jehovah removes all the obstacles.
Did you hear that? The visa process. So if I need a visa to Nicaragua or something, there might be a long process, but Jehovah make it happen. There might be obstacles. And no, listen, it's a miracle because she's working in the legal office, and basically what she's doing, she's redundant basically, because Jehovah is the one doing it. She's just there pushing buttons and stuff like that.
But this whole religion thing is like this. Like
It's a
It's a one-man
miracle.
puppet show. Like, I'm making the obstacles and I'm removing them. And they're like, oh, it's all been me. Like, what's happening, man? Like, okay, she's there helping these other people. They're trying to get a visa to get there. And then she sees the obstacles being removed. A, if it's God's will, is she necessary? B, the obstacles are there because God placed them there. C, why do they need to move anyway? You know, like everything is the God. So why it's a one-man puppet show?
The thing is about Jehovah Witnesses is that they have the lamest miracles of all. That
was the miracle.
That's the miracle, yeah.
Whoa.
That we need a visa, and we go to the legal department, and the legal department work with it, and in most cases, after a while, we get a visa. That's the miracle.
I've been listening to a podcast about people who deal with religious trauma and really fun stuff, and it was actually a cult called Bethel, and they were doing really cool miracles, like, you know, people walking, start stuttering, shit like that, like really fun stuff. But you guys, you have like, and then the visa application went through.
Yeah, after the legal department has been working. And by the way, I've been on Bethel, and if they can fire you, they will fire you. If they find out we can just take your workload and put it on somewhere else and fire you, even if you work for $100 a month, they will fire you. So I think they are over exaggerating a little bit about that miracle. But the Jehovah Witness miracles are quite often like this. We needed a brick wall. We found 100 carpenters to build it. None of them were plumbers. None of them were bricklayers. So therefore, it must be a miracle. No, it was people building a wall. So let's see here. Build that wall.
Lord.
Build that wall.
That's good to hear. And Mark, what about you?
I work with the Public Information Department. So a big part of that work is to provide accurate information about Jehovah's Witnesses to people who work in media or with the government or with academia.
That sounds like a daunting task.
Yeah, it really felt that way for me. I was terrified when the brothers gave me that assignment. And I've got a very distinct memory of one night when I couldn't sleep because of fear about that assignment. And I went into the living room and I read Exodus chapters 3 and 4 because I was thinking that's an example of Moses getting PID assignment. He's got to go and speak to Pharaoh. He's a high government official.
Right.
But every single time Moses expressed some kind of inadequacy, Jehovah reassured him that he would be what he needed him to be.
Yeah, so you
But
see.
you see, he had such a nice face, and turns out that his job is just a whole bunch of lies. Like, yeah, witnesses look great, no worries. Like, you should give them money. Like, what do you want to know about witnesses? They are prime sort, not cult.
Don't be a scoffer and a mocker. So the thing is, Moses needed to talk with Pharaoh, and he got help from Jehovah. You know what that help included? Killing children.
Well, they were not real people then, I guess, or something like that.
Now, we have this cognitive dissonance when you're a Christian. So we believe that killing children is okay as long as it's done by a loving and merciful God. We cannot see that those two things conflict. If you're a normal person, you will realize that a loving and merciful God will not kill anyone. And if a person killed children, he's not loving and merciful, but it's called cognitive dissonance and kind of brainwashing. I used to believe that a loving and merciful and wise God thought it's a good idea to kill children to make a point about how great he is. So that's not the guy I would take to court. Well, I would take him to court. put
That's
him in
not a guy I
jail.
would like to be in a relationship with,
No.
as with God. Seems like a
Let's see.
meanie.
So this is a lady that get to climb the highest corporate ladder there is among the Jehovah Witnesses.
That's really nice.
So, Wanjiku, we know you're coming to us from Kenya. We hear that the friends there call you Shiko. Is that right?
Yes, Shiko. So please call me Shiko.
Okay, Shiko. So, tell us about your background.
So my mom learned the truth when we were little. So I was raised in the truth. My dad is not a witness. So his main focus for us was education. I was intrigued with the legal profession.
Legal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to fight for the underdogs. I wanted to fight for justice. And I knew when I grow up, that's what I want to be.
Now, studying law sounds very time consuming, very demanding. Did it affect your relationship with Jehovah?
Having a baby is very time consuming. Did it affect your relationship with Jehovah?
No.
We have a baby, and that's not a time saver. I thought, the little bugger is unemployed. I thought she could help us around the house, but no.
No, quite the contrary. She's super cute, but she takes so much time.
So I haven't been making much videos, but I've been working behind the scenes. I've been practicing my comedy. We're planning a protest in New Zealand. And this is a Norwegian goat farmer with a worldly woman, and we're focusing on the children growing up in cults, their rights, and how to change legislation. So thanks to my patrons that support us doing this. Let's see what
Oh,
happened.
wait, I'm not done. I was saying, man, I want to say something.
Okay.
So I really like that lady. I think she looks like such a nice person, and she studied law, which I thought was not possible when you're a witness. Like, that was super frowned upon. And yet she did that. I'm happy for her.
Well, she wasn't, her father was a worldly person. Let's see what happened here. So,
And what department do you work with?
I am with the legal department.
So now I'm thinking about your situation because you've had the experience of working in the legal field secularly for your career, but you've also done it for Jehovah. You've done it for his organization. So how would you compare these two experiences?
You can't compare. So working for the world was about the money, was about to climb the corporate ladder. But when you work for Jehovah, you are fighting for the friends. You love them even before you meet them. And when you meet them, you love them even more. Your faith builds you, and you can't compare because it gives you contentment, joy. It's the best.
May I
Yeah.
speak first?
yes.
I see what these people are saying, and every and each one of these people are speaking from a point where nothing ever blew up in their face. Like, they met, they're happy, they have a career because they are having a career. Career is just a job that you continuously build on, and they are having a career. So they're having everything that they kind of want, and it works out for them. And this super nice lady, she said, you can't compare how different it is because you are kind of working with friends and everybody is in it, and the sense, what she didn't say, a sense of community, the sense of togetherness, the sense of being among friends and working towards common goal. It's such a great feeling. I think everybody at some point in their life had this feeling that they were with other people on this one task, and it's something that elevates you so much. And she is talking about this from this point of being like, nothing ever went wrong for me. This is such a great feeling, and I'm really happy for her. This is the best scenario that can ever happen. But when it goes bad, when something bad happens to her, she makes a misstep, she becomes redundant, something, anything, this will be taken from her in a blink of an eye. The rug will be pulled from underneath her because it's not a loving organization. It's an organization, and in organization, choices are done, decisions are done, and there are rules, and it's not a place that's made to elevate people. It's a place that's made for controlling people, taking what's best out of them. And as long as they step exactly in line and are a little bit lucky, everything will be fine. But if they're not lucky, they cross someone's path, they don't follow the rules religiously, it will blow up in their face. But this whole broadcasting thing is a propaganda piece that is supposed to sell people the best case scenario. Like, look, this could be so great. This would be so happy. These people are so fulfilled. Like, you could never be fulfilled outside of this organization. That's false, first of all, because you can find a goal that you can work towards and feel fulfilled and feel a part of something. Cults have this horrible way of taking this feeling and saying that only they possess it, and it's not true. It's absolutely not true.
Yeah, but she said that you can't compare Jehovah working as a lawyer in a normal company to working as a lawyer for Watchtower, and then she compared it, which is common. But she said, you're working for a career. When I was a Jehovah Witness, it's not that long ago, a single sister could not go to Gilead. But then they changed it, so only people that work on Bethel can go there. Valued employees that get like a medal, you can go to Gilead and get this framed diploma from a school that really no one care about. But anyway, she get to go there. Why? Because her worldly father probably paid for her education as a lawyer. If there would be 5 Jehovah Witness brothers that were lawyers working on that Bethel, she could forget about going to Gilead. But anyway, she was lucky, she came ahead, and now she's having what I would refer to as a career. She reached the highest position a woman can come in the Jehovah Witness organization, and that is to go to Gilead and work as a lawyer on Bethel. So, but it's the, we have this guy. He's going to study, but he also praised me for this video. It's still one of my favorite videos, my shiny bucket video. Watch my video called The Norwegian Goat Cult. It explains all religion. And there are people, Bromley, he was paid to be a lawyer. Watchtower paid for it. Yeah, he's not a good guy, I think. I never met him. So let's move on. This guy.
Once, when preaching from house to house, we found a woman who was suffering because she had lost her only baby. She was amazed to learn that Jehovah God was not responsible for her suffering. She was amazed to learn that Jehovah God was not responsible for her suffering. A little later, she mentioned the only way she could repay Jehovah for taking her out of spiritual darkness was to serve him.
Yes.
What was that supposed to even mean? Like, she was amazed that Jehovah was not responsible. Was she amazed that Perun was not responsible, or Krishna was not responsible?
Imagine if you lose a baby. What's the biggest thing on your mind? That is, what about Odin? Is he responsible? I don't want Odin to feel bad. Or Jehovah. It's the same invisible guy. And
But they're telling on themselves so bad in here. Like, they found they found a grieving mother, and that's
We pray on
who
them.
they managed to kind of draw into a conversation. Like, they're not saying there was this perfectly fine, healthy young person, fulfilled and with happy family. Like, that's not who is their prey. Their prey is grieving people in pain, mentally challenged, alone, vulnerable people.
we're very much taught as Jehovah Witness to target mothers that lost a baby. That's kind of the thing I'm ashamed of. But you really think this happened that, oh, I lost my baby, and we say, Jehovah is not responsible. So, that's amazing. No, but Jehovah Witness is a very legal religion. It was started by a guy who had a printing company, but the guy who turned it into a cult was a lawyer, called himself a judge. But it's very legalistic, and the way they talk is still very legalistic, like, our client was not responsible for the death of your child. That's kind of the first thing they would say instead of being empathic.
What
But-
would make sense to say was like, she was amazed that she would be reunited with her baby. Instead of like, she was amazed he was not responsible. I would be the last thing I would care for if I lost a baby.
Yeah.
Now she is our sister, and we love her very much. Because her life has a purpose, it's beautiful to see how she smiles more often.
It is such a joy to see someone come out of the water after getting baptized, knowing Jehovah helped them get there. Being part of their journey and helping them change their life, it's one of the best feelings there is.
Yes, I couldn't help putting on some picture from the Gloriavale cult. That was not a baptism, they were bathing.
The only thing I
playing.
can think of is there anyone who doesn't come out of the water when they're doing the thing?
Yeah, but we think when
Straight
we were
to heaven.
witnesses, we thought we were unique. This is the truth. But all cults are the same. If you grow up in this Gloriavale and you have this community, like there's a scripture, I was thinking if I would go there and start talking to them when I go to New Zealand, maybe I can, maybe they would be nice to me. But if I would start questioning things, what scripture would they use? Well, there's a place where Paul says that be aware that those that come and try to split you with different teaching. I don't remember the English, but there's a place like beware of those that come to you and try to divide you. So they would use that scripture on me, and they would think that they were the navel of the universe. That verse was written for them. Everyone does that. There's nothing unique with the Jehovah Witnesses. I'm just a little bit in love with the Gloriavale cult right now, because someone made a documentary. This is the documentary, and I'm gonna take a piece of his interview, and most likely I will not be able to monetize this video. But I think he needs to call out because it's an important documentary he did, and you can probably find it. It's on cinemas in Australia and New Zealand.
For those who don't know, what is Gloriavale and what happens inside the commune?
Well, they claim to be it's a Christian community. Commune, they set themselves up away on the South Island, west coast of the South Island, basically as secluded as you can get, and there are 600 people there. It's been going for 50 years, but at the end of the day, it's a cult practicing modern-day slavery under the banner of religion.
In what way?
Well, for one, everyone works for free, so it's, you know, when you think of this small little Christian community, you think, oh, okay, beautiful
Utopian.
practicing utopia, you know, practicing their religion. They're not bothering anyone. But at the end of the day, they really are. It's a business. They're worth millions of dollars. They've got $60 million of assets, huge dairy business. And everyone works in the community for free. Everyone gives all their anything they own when they join the community. They give it to the community. It's 3 generations now of people being born into that world, indoctrinated, and with no real way of leaving, because they're so secluded from the outside world that they don't know anyone. Very tightly controlled by the shepherds, who are the upper echelon men at the top who control it, and they're working crazy hours, particularly women. It's a very patriarchal society that cherry pick verses from the Bible to basically keep everyone in line.
So I'd like just to cut to the chase. You can say that Jehovah Witnesses, they are very organized, they're 8 million, and those people are 600 people in a valley that are locally. So it's so easy, Jehovah Witnesses would find all the differences, that, we're different than them, and they're different than us. And kind of what they hide behind, they have different hats, but what they all do is that they violate human rights. And my message is that all religions must respect human rights. So it all boils down to that. And then it's easy to talk to politicians, because if we go from Gloriavale and we talk to politician, and then we had the cows, and then we had the pig dresses, and then we had the blue dresses, and then we had the swimming, and then we had the Baptist age. That's 5 months different from that cult. And we go to all these details that and all the trauma, and we dump it on a poor politician. So I'm working with humor. I've been studying stand-up comedy, and I'm getting good. Thank you to my worldly woman that support me in this mission. And with humor, it's much easier to first heal as ex-cult members, but then when we mix that and have a clear vision and focus on human rights, so we changed the Norwegian legislation. So now the Norwegian legislation says all religions must respect human rights. Then, therefore, Jehovah Witnesses are currently not a religion in Norway. And I think that's why they started changing, like the no education doctrine, because that was a human right violation that I was planning to take them to court for, and they came up ahead of me and changed it, which is a win.
Because they wanted the money back.
Because they want the money. But they now also lost their government funding in Sweden. Hashtag all religions must respect human rights. I'm going to New Zealand. I might be standing all alone on the other side of the planet while my poor wife is starving here in Norway. But if you come to New Zealand, and if there's someone from Gloriavale that would like to come and support a Norwegian goat farmer and tell me where to hang my hammock, please do. And thanks to my patrons. So I like the quote from this little girl here. She sums it up.
But really, it's about the wider picture, being able to use what happened to me to stop it happening to anybody else, being able to have Gloriavale accountable for what they do, not just sweep it under the mat anymore.
Yes.
What do you have to say about this little man?
Me?
Yeah.
Little man? Okay. No, but that's what we do. Cult members unite. We can unite under one flag, and that's human rights.
Because, she is speaking on behalf of Gloriavale survivors. She's one, but she might have just as well be a witness. She might have been just as well any other post-Christian survivor, post-Christian high control group survivor. And it's so many commonalities because the mechanisms are just the same. It's just the same everywhere. All the Christian ones, they have similar toolkits, similar flavors, similar surviving people.
So when we focus on human rights, we beat them, because that's also language the politicians understand and are obligated to listen.
I went to MTS in 2010.
But in January 2010, that was the massive earthquake that took place. It caused so much destruction, loss of life. We remember that. How did that affect your school?
That earthquake changed the schedule of the school.
So I think that's fascinating, because as a witness, every time you hear about earthquake, you're reminded about a prophecy that there will be earthquake. The apostles knew the word earthquake, so it happened prior to 1914. But how is it possible that the God that's loving create a planet that sometimes shake people to death? All he can say is like, well, you had a responsibility not to live on the place where it's shaking. Normally, when people move from one place to another, even today, this day of science, they pray to God for guidance. I think at least 50% of the people on this planet pray to God prior to moving the place they currently live. So,
but every time I see this, all I can think of is like, oh no, I'm being attacked by a snake. Oh! It was me all along. It's a one-man's puppet show. The God, all-knowing, almighty, all-powerful God is doing this to the people that he put there. He is the all-knowing, he is almighty, he put the people there, he brought the earthquake there. The least he could do was earthquake incoming, you have 1 day to move, or whatever, instead of putting people through this and then It has impacted the schedule a little bit, but you see, we dressed up very nice. The world is on fire, and then we're sitting very jolly, very happy. Ooh.
How can the creator of the earth not take responsibility for earthquakes? That is so ridiculous. But look here, someone gave us $20 for chocolate while I'm gone.
Oh, wait, oh, thank you.
Thank you,
With
Dan.
prices in Norway, that will be a chocolate.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see.
300 brothers and sisters in a town nearby the main city had to flee to the next largest town. And in this very same week, the branch office made arrangements so that 2 branch committee members went there to encourage the friends with service talks. And they organized a special meeting. And I have a picture that I can show you.
What are we looking at here?
So this is the special meeting that they organized, and we can see the brothers and sisters, and they were well dressed. And the branch committee members were amazed to see in that special meeting the Kingdom Hall filled with these brothers and sisters who just fled their home. They were in good spirits and ready to worship Jehovah.
I am impressed that these friends are fleeing for their lives, yet still show up at the Kingdom Hall for a meeting. That's a good example. We can see they're really drawing their strength from Jehovah.
Yeah.
What kind of blessing is that? Jehovah ruined your house and everything you were working on. Let's say that you are working towards making Jehovah's mission better, and then he's like, gone. Like, how is that good in any way? What kind of mental gymnastics you have to do to say, "Ooh, this is great, blessing, we're moving forward, and now we're sitting here, and everything is great." Exactly like Jehovah wanted.
Jehovah Witnesses is a business, and it's a bit like McDonald's. What will they do in any situation? They will make a burger. And Jehovah Witnesses arrange meetings to manipulate the members to, in the long run, give them their money, their service, their time, their lives. So what do Jehovah Witnesses do when there's a quake? They say, we had a special meeting. And that's basically the same as McDonald's say, oh, we made a special burger. It's what they do. But yeah, I'm glad they survived, and if they're happy. Born a Gilead. I never thought that way about earthquakes. Yeah, it's incredible that we spoke about earthquakes without thinking about who is responsible for earthquakes. I remember violently pushing it back into the back of my mind all the time. And I remember Jehovah Witnesses thinks earthquakes a good thing because it's one of the signs that Armageddon is soon, which is ridiculous also. But
isn't there a sign that earthquakes have been around?
Yeah, of course. Like the apostles knew the word earthquake. It wasn't like, what is that? They knew about it.
Plot twist, we are constantly in Armageddon.
Oh, someone's Pimo. So,
hello, Pimo.
Last time we had a Doomsday Comedy show. So all the comedians are ex-Jehovah Witnesses or ex-cult. It's super fun. And it's good comedians. But we also had Pimo. So feel free to go to DoomsdayComedy.com and subscribe to our newsletter. And if we have a show close to you, you can sneak into our show, and we just have fun, and we poke fun at the crazy stuff that we grew up with.
Comedy is a great way of dealing with your trauma, because one thing is just, working through it different ways, but laughter has such a healing property. It kind of makes you really close to what happened, but also distances you and gives you perspective. And also, it's something that you share with others. You're not alone. So it's like the perfect mix of togetherness, self-reflection, self-pity, laughter. You're kind of ridiculing yourself. It's the perfect thing. It's a perfect thing. And Jonas is taking his talent, stamina, nerve, and charm into this kind of area. And I know him a little bit, and I think he will do great things. I can sense Jehovah working through him.
Yeah, it's a miracle. I'm a miracle.
He's a miracle man, and he is very funny, and coming to the convention near you to make you laugh and he did this thing in London when he gathered a lot of post-cult comedians together with him, and they made a show, and it was super good.
Yeah.
It's super good for people who come out of cult. Doesn't necessarily have to be Christian cult, any cult, because all the cults are kind of the same, and all of them have their own quirks. But also it's super funny for worldly people because we get this kind of like insight into the craziness.
It's good therapy just to laugh about it. And we have an audience that's 50% non-cult members and 50% cult members. And that means they laugh twice as much because they see it from different angles. And yeah, it's super fun. Here someone said, I want to see you in London, but was a bit too far. I love your channel. Well, you should have sat in the front then. But no, but I'm actually going back to in London. Let's see here. Not London, but we're having ex-Jehovah Witness convention. Please, let me see here. March, it's 21st of March. I will be back in England for empowered, I forgot the name. It's very late here now. And my wife is disobedient, like worldly women often are. So let's move on here. Yeah, 21st March is a comedy show, but just go to DoomsdayComedy.com and leave your email and you get a newsletter. So let's see where we're now. So I did you a favor, cut these down because it's
Through
boring.
these experiences today, we've heard more than just 5 individual stories. We've heard a story about Jehovah. We've seen Jehovah use his power to enable his servants to face trials that they couldn't overcome on their own. We've also seen him draw individuals to himself through the ministry. And we've seen Jehovah act as a loving, patient, merciful potter who molds individuals to become what he wants them to become. It is true, we're all like imperfect clay. We all have our own set of limitations. But as long as we're willing to be molded, Jehovah can cause us to become whatever is needed to fulfill his purpose.
Yeah, so you saw that in the end of a Jehovah Witness video, they will always just come with a lot of statement that you're not inclined to think critical about if you're a Jehovah Witness, but you also don't have the time to do it. It's just a trick. So it's like Jehovah gave them power, Jehovah helped them, Jehovah remember the man with no legs and no arms in a ditch, Jehovah helped him. No, he didn't.
He took his
It's
legs
just a
from
statement that he did. Jehovah helped someone, Jehovah gave someone power. So all of this is just statement that I watched the whole crap, and I cut it down because I love you. I love you very much. I'm sorry, I watched them too much. They always tell the audience that they love them. But I cut down to the funny part, but there's really no place where you see any miracles or Jehovah giving strength. The only thing he did to the lady, there's a lady that probably prayed a lot to God, and the baby died anyway. And only God sent his lawyers, literally sent lawyer organization to her and said, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. Your baby died, but it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. That's the help he gave her. It wasn't my fault. And she was like, that's amazing. It wasn't your fault. The only thing I can do to repay you for not letting me live in blindness is to serve you. Yeah. So it's very much like Gloriavale. It's just different doctrines, but give us your service.
He brought the earthquake, and then he was like, yeah, okay, now I'm bringing you together. He took his legs, and then he gave him strength. He brought these difficulties, and then, like, what kind of weird gem is this? What kind of weird hamster wheel are people who believe in this on?
In Scandinavia, we call it an air castle or an air palace. It looks like a palace. You can meditate of all the strings and the pillars, and you can memorize it, but it's just air. It doesn't exist. It's an air palace. You can spend your life.
Dear brothers of the governing body, with hearts full of appreciation and love, we thank you for this privilege of attending Gilead. Your warm hospitality and loyal love have touched each of us personally. As we prepared to be taught by Jehovah, our expectations were high. However, as stated in Ephesians 3:20, He has done more than super abundantly beyond anything we could have conceived.
Yeah. So did you notice when I grew up, we were proud that we didn't know about the governing body members, who they were. It wasn't a secret, but it wasn't really important. But now they address their governing body, and they talk about, and then did you hear that like governing body and God is like interchangeable? It used to be that Jesus and Jehovah were interchangeable, but now it's the governing body and Jehovah.
I don't
Their
know.
governing body, thank you for letting us be taught by Jehovah.
It's almost as if it's a patriarchal cult that's run by men. Almost.
Yeah. So let's say, no, I think it's a cult. So what about New Zealand? Should we go there? Is there anyone who want to go to New Zealand?
I would like to go to New Zealand, but
Yeah.
I have a baby, and the baby and a plane, they are not really very compatible. So Jonas is going alone to bring Jehovah's Witness for Jehovah, I guess is the way of saying it.
Yeah, so this is the Jehovah Witness Convention, New Zealand, Auckland. And what is this?
I can help you.
Yeah, so it's actually quite fun, those conventions, because people are in a super good mood.
Can I?
Yeah.
I'll help you. You need a helping hand of a strong, independent woman.
That's the one. Okay, now it's gone. Yeah, so this is the convention, and we'll protest outside, and it's kind of fun. I have this peaceful protest, and the Jehovah Witnesses basically love me. But the funny thing is that I have contacts in Australia, and the Jehovah Witnesses already spread out rumors that there will be nasty people protesting outside.
I guess someone
So they
smelled
want
you
to
after all.
discredit me already, and I take that as a compliment. But so I hope if you live in New Zealand, or if you're any New Zealand-based cult, or just like humor, that you will support my protest in New Zealand, and maybe we can change New Zealand legislation. They have a system of that Jehovah Witnesses is a charity. That means that they can save taxes and stuff like that. And my argument is that if the New Zealand government, basically tax break is the same as government funding, according to me and many other scholars. If you just give tax breaks to organizations without doing your due diligence, you're part of their abuse. If I can't give money to Al-Qaeda, how can you just give money to Gloriavale or Jehovah Witnesses or Al-Qaeda? You have to know kind of what you're giving the money. So with my thing, hashtag all religions must respect human rights. Then there has to be some kind of questionnaire to ask them, do you respect human rights? And if there's doubt, the benefit of the doubt should benefit the children. Because after all, the government is handing out free money. The children deserve that you ask for a questionnaire, do you respect the rights of those children? And if there's any doubt, they should not get free money, because that's how money works. If you can keep them, that's a good thing. So my argument is just take care of children or keep your money. So it's not a difficult sale. Yeah. And I wonder why no one came up with this before. But I'm the goat farmer that's going to save the world with the help of my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful worldly woman. And
so I've been on one of these protests, or a couple actually, and it's super peaceful, and Jonas is really cool. And you can't really convince people who are cult goers. You only can show that you are kind of nice and you're not pushing your agenda on them. You're just like, hey, if you want to leave, like in 5 years from now, if you feel like you're alone, you will remember me or us or our presence, and you will seek us out, or maybe you will at least have a feeling that you're not alone, there is a world outside. That's kind of the vibe this protest is giving. So I don't know what are they having in their mind when they're saying nasty people, because there's nothing nasty about this protest. They're super nice, actually. And we also speak with the witnesses. Some of them have not read the memo that they're not supposed to talk to us, and they come up and talk, and they try to convince us that, it's actually true and la. But there's nothing nasty. There's nothing unpleasant. It's just niceness, smiles, and standing with a banner saying there is support if you want to leave.
Yeah. No, so I hope we have to go to bed now. I'm happy we managed to do this without waking up the baby. Oh,
Bye.
Merry Christmas. Slowly. So I have to go up cleaning windows tomorrow, and then I'm going to do stand-up, practicing my material. So see you in paradise, and please like and subscribe and leave a comment to help my channel grow. And yet again, thanks to my patrons. I haven't made videos in a while, but I have been busy.
Because of the baby, I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
It's because of the baby. It's always the baby.
It saved our relationship.
How about
A
the
relationship needs a common enemy, and that's the baby. So see you in paradise.